The New York Knicks has been nothing more but disappointing this season. This has been a trend ever since they had that tease season in 2013. They are 21 and 45 in the Eastern Conference, and they are one of the worst teams in the league. They do have a few bright pieces. I really like Mitchell Robinson. I believe any team that drafted him in 2018 was going to get a steal. Damian Dotson is another bright spot that can grow as a really good shooter on this team. They recently brought up Jared Harper from the G League, and I really like this kid, small guard who is a crafty scorer. He has been tearing it up in the G League, and I hope he flourishes and becomes an everyday player in the NBA. But their main biggest piece and bright spot is RJ Barrett. I'm high on RJ, and I think that he has the tools to become at least an all-star level player for the Knicks. He obviously isn't advertised enough compared to Zion and Ja Morant, but I'll say that if there's a player that should be in the conversation as a future star in the league, I believe that RJ should be in that conversation. Now, if you like the content, like and comment. It really helps in getting these videos out to more people, and this is a channel based on creating conversations around the league. So the more people tuned in, the more people involved in that conversation. I do player breakdowns, team breakdowns, and I'm currently running a series based on hot takes from you guys, the viewer. So comment down a hot take below in the comment section, and a potential video will be made on it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and subscribe if you like the content. RJ Barrett has had a solid season in his first season with the New York Knicks. He averaged 14.3 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.6 assists on 40% from the field and 32% from 3, and 61% from the free throw line. Now, RJ's 2-point field goal percentage is at 43% on the season. It is a very low percentage, and it's concerning, especially for a guy whose main strength is getting to the rim and finishing. But the main reason for these numbers doesn't have anything to do really with RJ's slashing ability, but more of the team that is structured around him. RJ is a type of player that will thrive a lot with a lot of shooters on the court. This creates spacing, and he has the ability to get to the rim at will. This Knicks team was a mess with spacing. Elfrid Payton can't shoot to save his life. Julius Randle cannot shoot, and he wants to play like he is a guard. Taj Gibson was never known as someone who could stretch the floor. Mo Harkless has shot it poorly ever since coming to the Knicks. Frank Ntilikina still isn't a reliable shooter or offensive player. Kevin Knox is meh, and Mitchell Robinson plays mostly around the rim. Basically, this team has no shooters, and when you have no shooters to space the floor for RJ, defenders can easily switch over and make RJ's life getting to the rim a living hell. Damian Dotson, Bobby Portis, Wayne Ellington are basically the team's best three-point shooters. There's a lot of guys in that 20% from 3 area and have poor field goal percentages on this team. Had the Knicks had better shooters on the team, I honestly expect RJ's field goal percentage to be higher than it is, and possibly even pushing his points per game number to around 17 and his assist numbers to around 4 to 5. If the Knicks want to maximize RJ's abilities, they are going to have to surround him with those players to space the floor. As stated before, I believe RJ's best skill is driving and getting to the rim. He can get to the rim well, and he is physically strong and athletic enough to get to where he wants to. And by doing this, he is able to draw a lot of fouls. He attempted 4.5 free throws a game, which is impressive for a rookie. As he becomes more established in the league, he'll get more calls and more chances at the rim, which is going to boost his scoring numbers. He's going to be the second lead guard on this team next to a reliable point guard, hint hint LaMelo Ball, and he really has a good handle on the ball. Nothing too spectacular or flashy, but it's good enough to help RJ get by. A lot of young players coming into the league as a slasher usually shies away from contact, but RJ looks to absorb it and tries to finish through the contact. RJ is also a pretty good cutter. He can be a lob threat in the open court, and showed flashes he can be elite as a cutter. If the Knicks find a point guard to pair with him who can be a playmaking and create his own shot, then RJ will benefit a lot off of those open, easy feeds. I would like to see more post touches for RJ because he is actually decent down there, and since he is a strong player, he can really get some easy buckets down there or potentially open up a 3-point shot for an open teammate if he commands a lot of attention. I would also like to see him consistently use a floater in his arsenal, especially working off of pick and roll situations. He can be useful as he would have a consistent shot to use instead of using a mid-range shot, which he is poor at using. He's an athletic guy, but I haven't seen too much explosiveness or athletic drives from him, or even him just freezing his defenders and blowing by them. RJ for the most part just uses his strength to barrel through opponents and score. I don't mind this, but I want to see some advanced ball handling, some more creativity out of RJ, and using an explosive first step from time to time. A reason we may not have seen these explosive first step drives to the rim leads into a problem with RJ's game, which is his shooting. Teams sag off of RJ and dare him to shoot, almost expecting him to drive the ball, so he becomes a bit predictable. RJ looks to force his way and utilize his strength along with a Euro step move that he uses to get to the rim. I would like to see some more creative finishes and creative ways RJ can get to the rim. He's also kind of reliant on finishing with his left hand rather than his right. Some of his drives get sloppy because in situations where he has to use his right hand, he doesn't use it. And this is kind of strange because he said he is naturally right-handed, but that has yet to be seen. RJ is shooting 32% from 3. He is shooting around 3 to 4 threes a game. His main way of getting attempts is through catch and shooting, where he is averaging 33.8%. He doesn't look to shoot off the dribble or pull up from 3 as much, and when he did, he shot it poorly. He only averages 25% from those attempts. So it's best to focus on his potential strength here, which is catching and shooting, and being able to work off the ball looking for 3-point shots. I think he can be really good at this. Another problem with his shooting is that with his ability to get to the free throw line, he isn't able to convert those free throws. I don't think there isn't anything funky about his form, but more so he needs to get those shooting reps in and work on his consistency. I guarantee you if RJ is able to knock down a 3-pointer and mid-range shot at a consistent rate, he's going to be a scary player because now players have to respect his shot and not sag off of him, which opens up his driving game more. What I like the most about RJ is his ability as a potential playmaker. He did average low assists, but he has had games where he showed flashes of really good playmaking, and with his ability to get to the rim, this is where his playmaking becomes crucial. But he is going to need the talent around him to actually make those passes. He actually has really good court vision and works well in the pick and roll. He makes the simple plays and makes good reads. At RJ's peak as a player, I see him as a 25 points, 7 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists type of player. But he's going to need the talent around him. The Knicks is going to have to provide all of that around him to unlock his full potential. RJ as a defensive player, he has a lot of potential to be great at that end. He has the physical attributes, 6'10" wingspan, as well as the instincts to become a great defender. He gives a lot of effort and motor on that end, which should be appreciated as a young player. He is really good in playing off the ball defense. This is where his instincts and feel on that end is best shown. In terms of his on-ball defense, he isn't disciplined as much on that end, which is expected for a young player. This is where experience will help him down the line. But there are times where he gets burned by the simple moves. Much experienced players take advantage of him in isolation situations. There has been also times where there is miscommunication with a teammate or he overplays an oncoming screen or play. I think these can be easily teachable and he learns through experience. I have that confidence that he can be a really good two-way player with his instincts, effort, and motor. He also has the potential to guard multiple positions, the 1 through 4. Now, RJ has a lot of potential, a lot of upside. There's good and bad things with his game. He has to become more versatile as an inside scorer and improve on his shooting from outside. the Knicks also have to surround him with the talent to help RJ. No more Julius Randle spins and poor shooting from this team. RJ's success in the league revolves around him being a hard worker, which I'm confident he is. And his success also relies on the New York Knicks. Yikes.